Hey everybody, welcome to PopNerdom. I am your boy Six. Talk about a few things. It's been a while since I've done PopNerdom, so I'm hoping that we can have some fun with this one. I have my Black Series Star Wars out. If they fall, which they will, got my money on Han Solo over here or Mandalorian over here. If they fall, I'm gonna just keep going because I can't deal. By the way, I wanted to give a shout out to somebody from the a very good person, very nice person in the Toy Galaxy, which is a great channel here on YouTube that does toys. They have a page, they have a Patreon, but they also have a Discord. And Derek23 from Discord, what a nice guy. He reached out because I had made an order in Big Back Toy Store, and as you can tell, I don't own any toys. But he was really, really sweet to reach out. I appreciate it, man. Big shout out to you. And let's get right into this stuff because there's a lot of stuff that we have to catch up on, and I want to get right into it. First, I want to get into Loki. Loki's done now for a few weeks. I want to say even a month now. And we went through the roller coaster of watching the episodes, up and downs. I've had a few discussions with my cousin Harold about what this show was really like. And he continues to say that it's the best show because it was very it was hard to track how it's going to end up. There's no idea to end up, and I think he had some incredibly valid points about that. He had mentioned that the way the story was told, it didn't break its own rules, but you can argue that even though I'll get there in a second. While my argument, generally speaking, for the show is, even though I loved it, it had a problem that it was two shows squished into one, so they both suffered. I think that Loki, as a show, was incredibly smart, was incredibly well done, massively good acting from everybody, incredibly smart screenwriting, which you can't get away from, but it kind of turned out to be a TBA show. And yes, Loki is incredibly needed to tell that story because without the Lokis, nothing happens. But have you made that character? I mean, that's unfair to say because you can make any character do that. But what I mean to say with all of this is that I ultimately feel like they missed a mark by shoving too much TBA stuff in it. And it just kind of became the TBA show featuring Loki, in my opinion. I think it was an incredibly good show. I loved it. It is, out of the three shows, it's probably my second favorite, but it kind of wavers to be the first favorite too. It's incredibly good. It's so entertaining, and it really does try on Tom Hiddleston to make it work. So I think that I don't know. I think it either needed more episodes so that you can flesh out both stories completely without suffering, but I think that's kind of impossible seeing how expensive it was, or it needed to have a more poignant Loki story. That's arguable without because Loki's the catalyst that changes everything. But this show really felt like a jumping point for the next for the progress of Marvel, more than a Loki show. It was more like coming up next on Marvel, and this was the teaser. This entire show. Graphics are fantastic. The show was fantastic. The acting was fantastic. But I feel like it could have I don't know. It could have been called anything else and not be called Loki, and I think I would be a little bit less pissy, maybe, because I think that's what it is. That they shortchange a lot of things for the character because they're writing on you having seen all the movies, so that his emotional growth, the things that pushes on his change, is kind of glanced over in fast forward in some tape. So it's kind of missing some weight, so that it gives it weight at the end. And I think that, quite honestly, one more episode or a longer time of him processing what had happened to him in those movies would have been a bigger payoff to what the character went through to get into the end. But Loki gets a solid 8 out of 10. In the sextometer, I don't have that. I've never done it, but whatever. This episode, by the way, is going to be full of shows, because I didn't look for any news or anything like that. But I'm hoping that it's entertaining. Let's go into Star Wars Bad Batch, because Star Wars Bad Batch just ended too on Friday. And well, we've talked about Bad Batch before in the show. There's my problem with the show mostly is fucking Omega. I don't want to hate on the character. I don't remember having as much disdain for Ahsoka Tano as I do for Omega. And that's unfair to the character, but I don't have to like it. So Omega makes everything annoying, because she is the character that I know kids. I don't have any kids of my own. I'm gonna be fair, but I've known kids. I've had kids around me from my family for extended periods of time, and I don't know any kids that act like this. When an adult tells a kid, like, sit here, because it's dangerous and something might explode and you may die, I can understand an urge to run with the parent because they're scared, but I cannot understand this constant push of, like, we gotta do this because it's right. Oh, well, whatever. I'm trying to do her accent. That's horrible. But you know what I mean. She could have been a little bit older, and I would buy more. I mean, and Crosshair said it the best in the episode, where he's like, "You taking orders from a kid now?" It just seems like, fuck this kid. I don't like her. They're giving her too much power and too much importance, in my opinion. That doesn't mean that they're doing something wrong. Look, it's my flavor, or it's my taste buds for the flavor that they're giving, and I'm not a fan. It's all it is. Overall, the show is incredibly fantastic. It seemed to have been driving towards a change across from clones into stormtroopers, clone troopers into stormtroopers, but it's called the Bad Batch. It's not called, the trooper exchange or whatever. So it's about them. So I can appreciate that they kept it small, and they focused on them, and they focused on their change and on their progress. But I can also appreciate that it could have been sort of like Rebels, in that even though it was about them in the smaller picture, in the big picture they made more changes. Look, and who knows? It's the first season out of some, so it's gonna go somewhere. Let's see. We'll see where it ends up. I thought it was a great show. The animation is breathtaking. The animation is breathtaking, and I think that that's what makes it worth a watch more than anything else, even more than the story itself. I think it's bananas how good it looks. check out. I kind of had some thoughts about this too that I shared in a conversation while watching Scum and Villainy on Twitch. So check them out. They're fantastic, and they're all Star Wars all the time. And those guys are really smart. Shout out JC, and shout out. Oh snap! I forgot the other guy's name. Sorry, but shout out to you both. You're great. What If also came out this week. It was about Captain Carter, whom I'm going to assume is going to turn into Captain Britain. And it was fun. But, boy oh boy, once again, I'm finding this problem with Marvel TV where I wish things were longer. The episodes were longer so you can have more to digest. It's too quick. There are things that they skip over that I think take away from the weight of telling the story with some gravitas, and I think that that's due to how short they make them and how quick they go in half an hour. At least for the pilot, make it 45 minutes. And I think they could have fleshed out a lot of the situation and a lot of what makes the story or the characters more have some weight into their actions, have some weight into what happens to them and what it costs them to do certain things. I thought it was too quick, and that's my only complaint. The animation is fantastic. The story was great. And I wish I would have spent more time in the story. I know that Captain Carter is coming back at some other point. I don't know if this is going to be a season of that universe created by Agent Carter doing that. If it's going to be like the comic books where it could be like one issue, but like they break it into 2 episodes. So like 2 episodes tell one story and 2 other episodes tell another story. Who knows? Who cares? It's great. Just a little bit more Disney. Please, just a little bit more. Make him a little fatter, man, so that I can have a little bit more to enjoy. Star Trek Lower Decks just returned this week as well. And boy, it's just fun. You can't go wrong with Lower Decks. It's funny, it's fun, it's witty, it's quick, and it's made for a Star Trek fan from Star Trek fans. So it is the things that you wish. It's the things that you wish somebody made a cartoon about that was funny. I don't want to see them in the episodes that I'm watching. You know, some levity is fun, but not to this level, and this is just ridiculous to the level where you're like, are you serious? But in a cartoon form, half an hour, here's how you use that time, Disney, by the way. It's great. There is more to tell, but they tell their seasons, their stories intertwined through the season, so there's a longer story being told through later episodes, and I think ultimately Star Trek Lower Decks is A+ simply because of that. And ultimately I think that it's a flavor of Star Trek that we never get, or we would never get if we didn't have a Paramount Plus or a CBS All Access as it used to be. So that's fun. That's great. I am so in love with this show. That's not true. I'm not in love with it, but I enjoy it so much. Every time it comes on, I watch it. I enjoy it, and it doesn't have the gravity of anything that if you miss an episode or two and then you catch them up in a binge, like it doesn't hurt. But of course, I come from Star Trek when it was on television live, and if you missed an episode, you missed an episode until the reruns came back between seasons. So great, man. I love it. I'm very happy that he's back. I'd be happier when Picard is back. That would make me happier. But this, holding me to Picard, is great. And last but not least, definitely not least, is Suicide Squad. Big spoilers, by the way. Well, maybe I can do it without spoilers. I'll try, but big spoilers maybe. What a fun movie! It's all about. Well, first off, they're starting the movie with kind of a team from the other movie, kind of, or bringing all these people that you're like, oh my goodness, Michael Rourke is in here, and you know, like everybody's in here. Great, Nathan Fillion is in here. Let's go, and then getting them all massacred in the first 3 minutes, I think sets a tone for something fantastic. The only things I bumped with was when they stopped to tell backstories of characters. It's the only thing that I bumped with because I kind of didn't care about their backstories at all. I just wanted the funny, fun, quirky movie that it was. Seeing Starro was insane. It was so much fun. Seeing Harley Quinn, I think, because I still haven't seen any movies with Harley Quinn in. I'm sorry to say, I didn't watch the Birds of Prey or the other Suicide Squad. I just didn't have any interest in it, so I skipped them. I think that seeing Harley Quinn live, this might be, you know, it's different. Obviously, she's different, but this was fun. She was fun. Everybody was. John Cena was incredibly fantastic. Seeing Idris Elba running across the street like a fucking 1950s cartoon was fantastic. I thought it was great, and 99.2% of the movie was fantastic. You can't fucking go wrong with this movie. It's just funny. It's lighthearted. Is everything you need in a movie right now, because you don't have to think too much. It doesn't matter. They're going to do one thing, and they give you enough drama for it, but it's just so over the top that he makes it so great. I mean, I think. I mean, obviously, this is an opinion. What can you technically say about the movie? Nothing. It's great. I mean, you know, that Starro looked so good. It just looked good fake. Yeah, it almost looked like it was painted, and I thought that was. I mean, maybe it's just my TV how it's set up, but yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of great television this week. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is back if you're into that. That was also great. They dealt with a lot of the stuff that we've been dealing with for a whole year, and it was good to see them deal with it seriously and also funny. But out of the nerding stuff that's popping, this has been fantastic. A good year to be a nerd so far. So let's hope that it keeps up. Try to be back next week. I'll have a more formatted show where I can slow down and talk about one thing and then do some news. But it's been a while, and I wanted to jump into the things that I thought were massively more important. None of my figures fell yet, and I'm happy. Hope to see you guys next time. I'll be going through What If a little bit slower starting next week, hopefully. And yeah, leave your comments. Please leave a like. Please subscribe. Leave your comments about what you think about all of this stuff. And let me know, even though these things, they've been simmering now, so you have time to check it. Let me know how you do. See you next time.
That's the end of the video, and bye. Don't forget to subscribe. That's it.